Here are the most recent deaths in the national news, as reported at starmemoirs.com in July 2025. Star Memoirs is where you can find any obituary or publish an obituary in any local community in America and beyond. Keshia, Knight Pulliam, shares heartbreaking tribute to brother Malcolm-Jamal Warner. Keshia Knight Pulliam is mourning her on-screen sibling. The Cosby Show alum shared a touching message to her co-star, Malcolm-Jamal Warner, who died following an accidental drowning in Costa Rica, July 20th. He was 54. A week ago, I lost my brother, but I gained an angel. Keshia captioned her July 27th Instagram video, which featured Malcolm performing at Atlanta's City Winery. I love you, I miss you, we got our girls. Later in the clip, her 7-year-old daughter, Ella, was seen walking alongside what appears to be Malcolm's 8-year-old daughter on a farm. Keshia is also mom to son, Knight, too, with husband Brad James. Thank you for every text, call, and all the love that you have sent my way. The 46-year-old, who starred as Theo Huxtable's younger sister, Rudy Huxtable, wrote on her Instagram stories, "I've just needed a moment." While vacationing in Costa Rica, July 20th, the resident star was swimming in the ocean when a current pulled him deeper into the water. Costa Rica's Judicial Investigation Agency confirmed to E! News in a translated statement. Though he was rescued by beachgoers, he was, according to the statement, declared lifeless at the scene. However, his comforting legacy will live on with his extended Cosby family members. Words cannot describe the pain and sadness and surprise that I feel with the recent loss of MJW Raven-Symoné, who played Malcolm's niece, Olivia Kendall, on the show. Wrote, July 22nd. He was a big brother. He was a beacon. He was one of the most multifaceted, talented men. So gentle. He gave the best advice. He gave the best hugs. His smile will always be a huge, bright, F-King white smile in my head forever, she continued. I love you, and I know you're watching over all of us now. Meanwhile, Jeffrey Owens, who starred as brother-in-law, Elvin Thibodeau, struggled to make sense of his co-star's death. This tragedy has almost left me speechless, Jeffrey shared in a statement with Deadline. Malcolm was a lovely man, a sweet and sensitive soul. I respected him for many reasons, including the fact that he genuinely loved the act of creation. He had the mind of an actor and the heart of a musician. Second news. Kaylee Guncolvy's family reveals threatening text message they received during Bryan Kohberger's sentencing. Kaylee Guncolvy's family is facing another concern amid their grief journey. After the University of Idaho student's mom, Christy Guncolvy, delivered a scathing victim impact statement during Bryan Kohberger's sentencing for the 2022 murders of the 21-year-old and 3 of her roommates. The family received a threatening text message while in the courtroom. Sitting near you in court and watching you is a joke. The text sent to Christy, purportedly sent on July 23rd, shared on News Nation's Banfield, July 26th, read, "You know that Bryan is innocent. Making threats to Bryan about getting R for Ped in prison is very silly. I am in contact with a lot of serial killers. The anonymous person who claimed to know BTK killer, Dennis Rader, added, I've been put in contact with a wannabe serial killer who is in Moscow, Idaho, and I have given him your address." After sharing the unnerving texts, Kaylee's dad, Steve Goncalves, told correspondent Brian Enton that they passed the message to their attorney, who has been working with the authorities to identify the texter. He also shared that the family believes that the perpetrator is actually in another state. Crazy person on the street trying to find a family to harass. The patriarch emphasized that there's definitely an element of crazy people that gravitate towards these types of events, in which they opted to mock and belittle him. For the first time, we set the tone, and we wanted to have some power in that courtroom and dictate some things to him. So he was just sitting there, getting railed on, Steve said. It was very helpful. Indeed, he, Christy, and their daughter, Olivia Goncalves, slammed Brian, who will serve for life sentences for the murders of Kaylee Madison Magan, Shanna Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin. For Christy's part, she focused on Brian's life in prison, emphasizing to him, "You are entering a place where no one will care who you are, and no one will ever respect you. You will be forgotten, discarded, used, and erased," she said. "You will always be remembered as a loser and an absolute failure. When those prison doors shut behind you, I hope that sound echoes in your heart for the rest of your meaningless days. I hope it reminds you of what we all already know. You're nothing." She also shared a message from their youngest daughter, telling Brian Aubrey wanted to say, "You may have received A's in high school, but you're gonna be getting big D's in prison." Asterisk, who were Kaylee Goncalves, Madison Magan, Ethan Chapin, and Shanna Kernodle. Kaylee Goncalves, 21, Madison Magan, 21, Shanna Kernodle, 20, and her boyfriend Ethan Chapin, 20, were University of Idaho students who lived in an off-campus apartment. On November 12, 2022, the night before their bodies were found, Goncalves and Magan were at a nearby sports bar, while Kernodle and Chapin were at the latter's fraternity party. By 2 a.m. on November 13th, the four roommates and Chapin were back at the 3-story rental house. Goncalves was a senior majoring in general studies at the College of Letters, Arts, and Social Sciences. She was expected to graduate in December before heading to Austin, Texas, for a job at a marketing firm, her friend Jordan Quesnell told the New York Times. Megan, who was studying marketing, was best friends with Goncalves since the 6th grade. Family friend Jesse Frost shared with the Idaho Statesman Kernodle was a junior majoring in marketing. The university said at the time. She and Chapin, who majored in recreation, sport, and tourism management, had been dating since the spring. The roommate's neighbor Ellie McKnight told NBC News, "Were there any survivors?" Two roommates, Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funk, had been home at the time of the murders. In text messages that were unsealed March 6, 2025, Mortensen and Funk tried contacting their roommates on November 13th after the former saw a masked man moving through the house. According to documents obtained by E! News, "No one is answering," Mortensen texted Funk at 4:22 a.m. "I'm RLE confused RN." She continued to reach out to their roommates, urging them to respond. PL's answer. She texted Goncalves at 4:32 a.m. and again at 10:23 a.m. "Are you up?" At 11:58 a.m., a 911 call was placed after Kernodle was found unresponsive, per an additional motion obtained by E! News. A woman named A1 in the transcript described the current situation to the operator. "They saw some man in their house last night. Who is Brian Koberger, and how was he found?" Brian Koberger, who was charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of burglary, was a doctoral candidate at Washington State University. Over 1 month after the bodies of Magun Kernodle and Chopin were discovered, Kohberger was taken into custody. Dec. 30, in Monroe County, Penn. He was extradited to Idaho, January 4, 2023. As for how authorities connected him to the killings, DNA was found on a knife sheath that was left at the crime scene. Prosecutors revealed in June 2023 court documents, per NBC News. When the DNA didn't match anyone in the FBI database, authorities ran the DNA through public ancestry websites to create a list of potential suspects. According to the filings, after learning that Kohberger had driven to his parents' home in Monroe County, local officials then went through their trash and found DNA that tied him to that found on the sheath. What was Kohberger's initial defense? At the moment, a motive for the attack has not been detailed, and a gag order prevents many involved in the case from speaking publicly, NBC News reported. However, the unsealed documents provided some insight into their initial arguments. Kohberger's attorneys argued in a motion obtained by EO News to strike the death penalty that Kohberger, who initially faced death penalty if found guilty on all counts as autism spectrum disorder, ASD, and that executing him would violate the Eighth Amendment's prohibition on cruel and unusual punishment. His defense argued that Kohberger displays extremely rigid thinking, perseverance on specific topics, processes information on a piecemeal basis, struggles to plan ahead, and demonstrates little insight into his own behaviors and emotions. Due to his ASD, Mr. Kohberger simply cannot comport himself in a manner that aligns with societal expectations of normalcy, the motion said. This creates an unconscionable risk that he will be executed because of his disability rather than his culpability. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.